All right, class, what I'd like to do is to get the ball rolling on our discussion board. Keep in mind that this is our first discussion board, so it's very important for you to participate, not only to receive the credit that we get for our discussion board participation, but also this is going to be what I use to mark your attendance for financial aid purposes. So keep in mind that you have until Friday night, 11:59 p.m. to participate on this, but I do encourage you to participate early, please, in the week, and you can participate as often as you would like to. Don't feel like you only have to meet the minimum before you have to stop. You're welcome to go beyond that. And a lot of times, if I have a class that gets into the discussion board, we can have a lot of fun on the discussion board. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you do this first week. So, what I've done here is I've got a quote from a pretty famous public address. This address was given by Ralph Waldo Emerson, which some of you may be familiar with this name. He's a pretty famous, what we call transcendentalist. And if you have me for American literature in the future, we'll get to talk about him some more. But this comes from a speech he gave to a graduating college class. Excuse me, this speech was called the American Scholar. And he was giving this, as I said, to a group of graduating collegiate students. The message basically of this speech was your work is just beginning. Your responsibilities that you have are a lifelong responsibility as an academic. And in this address, he basically kind of went over what he thought the responsibilities were for the scholar. And I think you should be aware that you are now scholars. You're choosing to pursue a life of higher education. We will talk about throughout the semester some of the responsibilities that such a pursuit may require of you, and it's up to you if you want to meet those responsibilities. But what I want you to do for the discussion board, I want you to talk about this specific quote. I want you to break it down. I want you to analyze what it means for your own life. It could be your own life as a scholar, or it can be beyond that, not just responsibilities that this talks about that you have in school, but responsibilities that this quote may reveal that you have in life after school or in life outside of school right now. So the language is a bit challenging to break down, but you can do it. I'm not going to help you too much because I want to see what you do with it. I will read it. I know you can read here, but I think you'll understand that this is worthy of being read out loud. Here, Emerson is talking about what a scholar does, what a scholar is, and he talks about quite a bit. This is just a passage, but he talks about how a scholar is brave. And he says, a scholar should be brave, for fear is a thing which a scholar, by his very function, puts behind him. Fear always springs from ignorance. So is the danger a danger still, so is the fear worse. Man-like, or woman-like, let him turn and face it. Let him look it in its eye and search its nature. Inspect its origin. See the whelping of this lion. And whelping would be like the birth, the when it was a pup, which lies no great way back. He will then find in himself a perfect comprehension of its nature and extent. He will have made his hands meet on the other side, and can henceforth defy it, and pass on superior. The world is his who can see through its pretension. What deafness, what stone-blind custom, what overgrown error you behold is there only by your sufferance. See it to be a lie, and you have already dealt it its mortal blow. And I have here a picture, of course, you probably recognize, of the cowardly lion because I think it fits what he's talking about here as far as this idea of a lion. And the cowardly lion at first tries to be very intimidating and tries to provoke fear, but you find the more that you get to know him, the less fearful he is, the less scary he is. In the discussion board, I want you to think about what Emerson is saying here specifically of what a scholar should do, specifically what a scholar should do about fear, about ignorance, and what overcoming those two things can lead to. I'm also curious to see if you would be able to share with us some of the lions that you are facing this semester. Some of you may be new to college, brand new. Some of you may be returning to school after a break. Some of you may be returning to school after maybe a not successful first attempt. So I do think no matter what situation you're in, there are some lions that I encourage you to turn around and face them and see how you can overcome them. So if you can share some of these obstacles you anticipate, I think we should also try to help our classmates. So if you read a classmate share one of his or her lions, one of the obstacles they anticipate, you may have some good advice for how we can successfully overcome these obstacles, how we can silence the roar of intimidation that these lions might have on us right now because we're afraid. We've not looked at them. It's new. So listen, I really encourage you to, shine on the discussion board. This can be a very fun event. I enjoy it every semester. I definitely can tell classes that do a better job on that discussion board. Those classes, the responsibilities tend to be a bit less tend to be a bit less. It's just more fun. I mean, I'll be honest, we have more fun in classes. You do have work you have to do, but the discussion board is a huge chunk of your grade, and it's something that I don't think you should do begrudgingly. You can really shine on this if you take the opportunity to do so. So I look forward to seeing your thoughts on there. Thank you.